Good morning and welcome to our final number 10 in the series of Literacy Unlocked, in our series of webinars of Literacy Unlocked. Thank you very much for staying with us through all these webinars. I hope that they've been of great value, and I hope that this last one will bring it all together for you. If you have a pen and paper handy for any notes, that would be a good idea. And if you have a camera or a phone, you might want to take a picture of some of the slides. I'll get on very quickly if you can grab one. So, as the same as we've done each week, we'll have a very quick recap. I have to give you a little warning that this one is probably the longest one because there's a lot more in it. We've got more activities in it for you today. So, facilitators for learning, things that help children to learn. Children need to learn to build on what they already know or can do. They need to build gradually. So not just something that has nothing to link to. It needs to be relevant to them and needs to be motivational. These are little children we're talking about. They need lots of fun activities. And then all our indicators for literacy success. So these are all research based and they're skills and things that children need to bring to literacy. Children who are successful tend to have these skills, and children who struggle have some of these missing. We won't go through them all again, we've done them every week. So this week we're going to start with a look at 7 areas of development. So these are all from the UK EYFS, which is the Early Years Foundation stage, and we'll look at how these fit with literacy. I hope that you can explain the process now of how children become literate. And we're going to look at the role of songs, stories and rhymes and why just doing these on their own does not help children, or not, it's just help towards children learning to read and write, but does not teach children to read and write. Why are they on their own not enough? Look at what you are going to do. I want you to think about, in the light of everything that you've learned over these last 10 weeks, what now are you going to do to help children to become literate? And of course, we have lots more activities. So, as an early years practitioner, look at the children that you are working with and observe them. See what they're doing, what can they do, what do they know, and how can you extend that knowledge and skill that they have? How can you extend it so they move along to the next step? These are the 7 areas of development for the Early Years Foundation stage in the UK. And the first one is language and communication. Now it's obvious to see how that fits in to literacy, because being able to read and write is dependent upon language skills. It's just another way of communicating. Then literacy is it's on its own. It's like an extra developmental area. So physical development, we've talked about how that contributes to literacy, physical skills and timing, and ability with fine motor skills for being able to hold and control a pencil and write. Personal, social and emotional development. Children have to have self-regulation skills and be able to control their behaviour. They have to understand themselves and how they learn, how they interact with others. So these all contribute to literacy. Understanding of the world. So they have to have something to talk about, to know about. Children learn about everything that in their environment, their surroundings, and other people's worlds as they go along through school. Expressive arts and design. This is not just about creating pictures or painting or drawing, but also maybe creating sculptures, construction, building things, making things, bringing things together to make something else. All these contribute also to literacy because they're a part of imagination and creativity, and you need imagination to be able to write about something from your head, in your mind. Also maths, Again, like literacy, maths and literacy are sort of separate, almost separate subject areas, because they're things that are very, very important to life, and we want to emphasize those, if you like. Although they're part of development, we have them almost as separate subjects, because these are two areas we need to concentrate on and make sure that children are numerate, they can count, they do understand about number, and they of course can learn to read and write. So there's opportunity for promoting literacy skills in all of these other areas. So I think this now should be becoming a little bit obvious to you. So here's examples of activities you can do. So language and communication, role play, imagination, use of puppets, stories, songs and rhymes. Literacy is all about matching sounds to visual symbols in the end. So lots of activities, matching sounds, matching shapes, reading and writing activities. PE, physical development, skipping, jumping, marching. These are gross motor skills, and we've talked about how they can help contribute to literacy. And fine motor skills, use of puzzles, cutting, Play-Doh. We've mentioned lots of other things there. Social and emotional, personal development, playing together, circle time, self-regulation. Again, timing comes into here. Learning about the world, we mentioned a minute ago, but things like sand, water maps, animals, transport, culture, shopping, so many opportunities to learn about the world around us. Arts, we've got paints, crayons, pencils, use of materials, maybe making collages, but also drama, acting out, like play acting, being a character in a story. Also, of course, music and sculpture. Maths, of course, can be about counting, learning to recognise number, and also something called the oneness of one. So being able to know that this is one pear and one banana. Sometimes this is quite a difficult concept when we say to children this is two. But do they know that 2 pears is the same as 2 apples? Sometimes this is a little confusing for them, and it's a concept known as the oneness of one, knowing that that number can represent any item at all, but it represents the number of units of that item. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate to you the difference between reading a story that helps children with literacy and just reading a story. So first of all, I'm going to read you the story of the hare and the tortoise. So here comes Hare. Hello, Hare. Hare can't stand still. He runs through the grass, he rushes round rivers, and he nips over the meadows. Here is Tortoise. Ah, here she is. Tortoise stays still for a very long time, does not run through the tickly grass or rush around rivers or nip over misty meadows. Let's have a race, said Hare, because Hare thought that he would win. Off we go. Ready, steady, cock-a-doodle go. Hare raced through the tickly grass. I'm so fast, he said. Tortoise trundled through the tickly grass. Hare was out of the meadow, zipping past the duck pond. Oh, I'm so fast, said Hare. Hare reached the carrot field. These look rather yummy, he said. So he started to eat the carrots, and he got so full that he fell asleep. Meanwhile, Tortoise trundled along, tiptoed through the carrot field, past Hare, right towards the winning post. Just about to cross the line. Oh, Hare woke up. Wait a minute. Hare went chasing after Tortoise, but too late. Tortoise has won by a whisker. Poor Hare, he wasn't used to losing. Never mind, you might win next time, says Tortoise. So, the moral of the story was, keep going, always keep going. And don't think just because somebody is faster than you, they might be the winner. Now then, was that exciting story? Did you see any pictures? Did you see the story? Did you join in? Did you participate? No, I don't think so. Never mind. I shall read you another story. In fact, I'll put this on full screen. Might be easier for you to see. Okay, maybe that's better. So this story is about the Loch Ness Monster. I've lost my Loch Ness Monster. Do you remember we had the Loch Ness Monster here? And he's wearing a little hat called a tam o' shanter. It's a little Scottish hat because the Loch Ness Monster lives in Scotland, in a lake. So the Scottish word for lake is loch. That's why she's called the Loch Ness Monster. Lots of people go to Scotland and they take boats out on the loch and they look for the monster. Sometimes they think they've seen her. They see little bits that might be a tail, or a little bit might be the body, and they take photographs. And there's a big centre there of people who think they have seen Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster. So this little book is called Where's Nessie? Because it's a big question. Where is she? So this is obviously a children's storybook. We're going to read it. Here we go. So it says here, where's Nessie? Is she in the loch? Oh no, that's a duck in the loch. She's not there at the moment. Okay, group of children, another child, can you read this for me? Where's Nessie? Well done. In the castle? Do you think she's in this castle? Oh no, that's a dog in the castle. Is she on the farm? Continues like this. For the sake of speed, I'm going to go through a little bit quicker. Okay, another child, can you read this for me? Where's Nessie? Good reading. Is she up the mountain? Let's have a look. Oh no, this is Hamish the Haggis. Maybe you have to Google this. But the haggis is a creature with one leg, shorter than the other, because it spends all its time running round the mountains. And again, it's wearing a little green hat. Can you remember the name of the Scottish hat? Nessie was wearing it too. Tam o' Shanter. Where's Nessie? At the beach? She wasn't at the beach. Was she under the bed? She wasn't under the bed. Where can Nessie be? This is Loch Ness. Shall we have a look? Oh, here's the little monster. We've found Nessie. She's at home in Loch Ness, wearing her tam o' shanter. Now, can you see the difference between the reading of this story, where children can participate, read along with you? You're following the text with your finger, showing the direction, showing children how to turn the pages, and they can see the pages, see the visuals. This is much, much better. I've looked at lots of videos online of people reading stories, and the children need to be part of this story. They need to be able to get into the story. So you have the visuals, have a prop. Oh, that's not a prop. Have a prop, and help the children to participate. Okay. So we've got here on the. Oops, sorry. Share the screen back again with you. Have the screen back. Add visuals and props. Help the students to participate, join in, demonstrate the reading process that you're doing. Ask questions, encourage discussion. Talk about this place. Where is Scotland? Does anybody live there? So what about rhymes and rhyming stories? So we've got a story, and this time we're adding rhyme. So we've talked about nursery rhymes, we've talked about poems and limericks. I read to you The Owl and the Pussycat, my favourite poem. And I'm sure you will know the story of the Gruffalo. Do you know the story of the Gruffalo's child? Well, I'll try to do it quite quickly for you. Ideally, if you can add visuals, so we've got a book with pictures in, props, I don't have a Gruffalo, you might have a Gruffalo, encourage discussion, participation, you could make scenery, you could make a wood or make a cave, put cushion, even just a table with a cover over it can be a cave, and cushions can be rocks inside the cave. Consider alternative scenarios, characters, add more characters in. Can you remember the 3 characters in the Gruffalo? They're going to be in the Gruffalo's child as well. The use of repetition, memory, sequencing. What order do the characters appear in? Is it the same in both books? What's going to happen? Okay, I'll give you a clue here. Use clothes for rhyming words. We've mentioned that before. So if you look up the Gruffalo, you can just Google it. There are lots of things you can print off. So we've got here the Gruffalo's child. Put you on full screen again so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, Gruffalo's child, you can print off all these pictures. So the Gruffalo is telling the daughter, little girl, little Gruffalo here, it's frightening her, looks looking a bit scared, all about a big scary mouse. And she says he's terribly strong and his scaly tail is terribly long, and he's got great big eyes of fire, and his whiskers are strong as wire. But the little Gruffalo is very brave, and she's very bored, so she decides to go out into the wood and look for this big scary mouse. So of course she meets the same characters. She meets Snake, and she meets Owl, and she meets Fox, and then she meets a little mouse. Oh, that's not very scary. But something happens, because remember, the mouse is very clever. And the Gruffalo's child is very scared and runs away. Back home to bed. Okay, let's have a look. We'll read the story. Here we go. So you've got an idea of the characters. What do you think is going to happen? Try read it quite quickly. Obviously, again, explain the author. We've got Julia Donaldson here, Alex Scheffler. Axel Scheffler, sorry, not Alex, I'm reading backwards. The Gruffalo's child. Here we go. The Gruffalo said that no Gruffalo should ever set foot in the deep, dark wood. She's saying, don't go out. Why not? Why not? Because if you do, the big bad mouse will be after you. I met him once, said the Gruffalo. I met him a long, long time ago. He's telling the story. I can't quite remember, the Gruffalo said. Then he thought for a minute and scratched his head. The big bad mouse is terribly strong, and his scaly tail is terribly long. His eyes are like pools of terrible fire, and his whiskers, his terrible whiskers, are tougher than wire. Very scary. One snowy night, when the Gruffalo snored, the Gruffalo's child was feeling bored. The Gruffalo's child was feeling brave, So she tiptoed out of the Gruffalo cave. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. Into the wood went the Gruffalo's child. What do you think is going to happen? Aha, aho, trail in the snow. Whose is this trail and where does it go? A tail poked out of a log pile house. Could this be the tail of the big bad mouse? What do you think? Out slid the creature. His eyes were small and he didn't have whiskers. No, none at all. You're not the mouse. Not I, said the snake. He's down by the lake eating Gruffalo cake. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. Aha, aho, marks in the snow. Whose are these claw marks? Where do they go? Two eyes gleamed out of a treetop house. Could these be the eyes of the big bad mouse? What do you think? Down flew the creature. His tail was short and he didn't have whiskers of any sort. You're not the mouse. To who? Not I. But he's somewhere nearby, eating Gruffalo pie. The snow fell fast and the wind blew wild. I'm not scared, said the Gruffalo's child. She's very brave. Aha, aho, a track in the snow. Whose is this track and where does it go? Whiskers at last and an underground house. Could this be the home of the big bad mouse? What do you think? Out slunk the creature. His eyes weren't fiery. His tail wasn't scaly. His whiskers weren't wiry. You're not the mouse. Oh no, not me. He's under a tree, drinking Gruffalo tea. It's all a trick, said the Gruffalo's child as she sat on a stump where the snow lay piled. I don't believe in the big bad mouse. But here comes a little one out of his house. Not big, not bad, but a mouse at least. You'll taste good as a midnight feast. Gruffalo's child's going to eat the mouse. Wait, said the mouse. Before you eat, there's a friend of mine you ought to meet. If you let me hop onto a hazel twig, I'll beckon my friend, so bad and big. Gruffalo's child unclenched her fist. The big bad mouse, so he does exist. The mouse hopped into the hazel tree. He beckoned, then said, just wait and see. Out came the moon. It was bright and round. A terrible shadow fell on the ground. Who is this creature so big, bad and strong? His tail and his whiskers are terribly long. His ears are enormous, and over his shoulder he carries a nut as big as a boulder. The big bad mouse, yelled the Gruffalo's child. The mouse jumped down from the twig and smiled. Aha, aho, prints in the snow. Whose are these footprints? Where do they go? Said the mouse. The footprints led to the Gruffalo cave, where the Gruffalo's child was a bit less brave. The Gruffalo's child was a bit less bored. Now had an adventure. And the Gruffalo snored and snored and snored. That's what you expected in the story. So you can print out all the little bits to go with the story, and children can put them in the right sequence. Lots of literacy skills in there, okay? I shall put you back onto the screen again. Okay, so lots to discuss in there. So all these things, you can help children to, you can teach children all and help them to gain all these skills through the reading of stories. Reading stories doesn't teach children to read and write, but it does help children to develop skills that are required in the process. So what about songs? So we'll do a song in a minute, but songs have got, children's songs especially, have got rhyme. They've got rhythm, remember we need for matching syllables. They've got actions, which help us to remember. They've got music, which helps children in fluency to keep going. And there's a story usually in the song as well. If you can add props and add visuals, even better. So remember we did Hurry, Hurry, Drive the Engine. That wasn't rhyming, but it was a good story and a good song. And we did Tiny Tim the Turtle, which was rhyming and could help with phonemic awareness because we had Tiny Tim the Turtle. So what can you do when you do these songs? Well, match rhymes, emphasize rhythms for syllables, use actions to explain vocabulary, talk about the story. Can you remember the tune without the story or the words? Can you remember the lyrics? Can you remember the words? Can you remember the story? Can you remember the actions? Remember we have our cognitive skills that are required here. Sequencing and prediction, what happened? What order was it in? What do you think happened at the end? Can you change the story? What is the story? Beginning, middle and end. Props aid memory retention, and the visuals also aid comprehension and memory retention. So why use music? Well, there are all these reasons why you can use music to help promote literacy skills, and these are they. So at the top here we've got repetition. Very easy to repeat things over and over again through songs and rhymes, because these are very nice for children. They love to do them over and over again, songs, rhymes and stories. It's not like rote learning. It's not drill. It's not something boring. Children will happily sing songs over and over again, and they just become more fun as children become familiar with them. This, of course, helps fluency, also helps memory. Music, of course, is also pleasurable. When you undertake an activity that is pleasurable and enjoyable, then your brain produces dopamines, which makes you happy. If you're happy and relaxed, you're in a better state for learning. If you're anxious, you can't learn. Musical activities here. Children who do musical activities learn about tuning in to differences in sound and are able to discriminate between different sounds. This is a skill that is transferable to literacy for differentiating language sounds. We'll go back to the top. Melody order. So melody is the tune. So there are sequences in music, often that are repeated, the same as there are sequences in language. So, and in reading, and you have to be able to put words in an order in a sentence, and you have to be able to put letters in order in a word. So we need to learn about sequences. Singing, obviously, if you're singing, you're vocalizing. So it's practice in language, practice in using vocabulary, practice in putting the words in the right order in a sentence. So practice in language, vocabulary. You can see these three here. No prizes now for guessing why. These are all in bold because, of course, these are phonological awareness. So here we've got phonemes. So children who can tune in to differences in pitch can transfer that skill to tuning into differences in language sounds. Again, we're just tuning in to sound. Some languages actually use pitch, and so you say the same word, but if you say it at a different pitch, higher or lower, it can have a different meaning. It's more important in some languages than in English. Obviously, music has patterns, and we want children to be able to detect pattern, like the same as we have in rhyming patterns. We've got here mat, sat. Rhythm, of course, if we use music that is syllabic, then the music is actually syllabifying for us. So that's helping children to learn about syllables. And we spoke before about musicians being very good at being able to detect speech in noise, so they can tune in to the sound that they want to listen to, even in a noisy environment. So it helps listening. Music helps listening skills. We've got coordination, of course. You need both sides of the body. You must have a dominant side and a supporting side in order for our bodies to function well. So using instruments can help. And of course, music is a social activity, helps us with communication. So we'll have a look at My Cat Ben. Did you see the video before you came and watched this webinar? I hope so. So you'll be able to join in. So if you've seen it already, you'll know what happens. I'll put it on full screen again. Oops. I'll minus something there. So it's a story about a cat. The cat was a real cat, and the lady, Katie Larkworthy, who drew this cat, it was her cat called Sophie, and it was grey. She likes drawing cats. She's a very cat person. But we decided this would be a male cat and a marmalade coloured cat because he's stripy. And we thought he looked better in marmalade colours. We could say he's a ginger cat, but his marmalade is a better word to use to describe him because he has stripes, as you would see in marmalade. Maybe take some marmalade in and show children how that is similar to the colour of the cat, and he's not just ginger like an orange maybe would be, or you can't say he's an orange cat. So here is a story of My Cat Ben. It's a story, it's a song, and it rhymes. Turn pages here. I'll put it on full screen in a minute. There we go. There we go, that's better. You can see the book now. So there are 6 verses. It's about this naughty cat. He sleeps all day because he eats so much. He chases a mouse. Well, he eats a mouse. He chases a horse. Fills his belly with lots of food. He even eats the leg of a chair. Oh dear. And the lady, you can see the lady's face in the picture. She's looking worried that he might eat her as well. And then he chases a train. Okay, are we ready? I'll put on some music and we'll sing this, see if you can join in. So the chorus goes, with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. Okay, here we go. My cat Ben eats all day. He doesn't have much time to play. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. My cat Ben ate a mouse and left bits all around the house. Yuck. The knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. My cat Ben chased a horse. He didn't catch the horse, of course. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. My cat Ben fills his belly with meat in gravy and fish in jelly. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. My cat Ben ate a leg. The table's now on books instead. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. My cat Ben chased a train and then he came back home again. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a cat a treat. Ben just likes to eat and eat. Now, I found that children joined in with that and absolutely loved it and remembered better than me the order of the verses, which is very strange because I wrote the verses. But actually they're very good at remembering sequence. So, put you back again. to the PowerPoint. So it's a song, a story and a rhyme. It's got a chorus, it's got verses, it's got visual prompts in the picture. You could add actions, you could have a cat puppet and add props. So think about how many literacy skills can you promote with that one song? Most of them, I think. So some people have asked me, how can you actually record this for children? So you could have a sheet like this. If you've got a camera, maybe you want to take a picture of this slide. So you can have, we've got all the skills up here, cognitive skills. We've got sequencing, memory, attention and focus, comprehension, fluency, prosody, listening, vocalizing, so speaking or singing, phonological awareness, syllables, rhymes, phonemes, and gross and fine motor skills. So you can just take them off. So down this side, you just write your list of activities. So we've got just like a normal hello activity, like a welcome song in a morning, 5 fat peas. Do you remember we did that in a pea pod pressed? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Can you walk on tiptoe as softly as a cat? I think we did that one. Days of the week. Days of the week. I think we spoke about that one. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, and then there's Saturday. Days of the week. I once knew a girl, I think her name was Claire. She used to sleep at night with bananas in her hair. Do you remember we did that one? Tiny Tim. There was a little turtle and his name was Tiny Tim. I put him in the bathtub to see if he could swim. He drank up all the water and he ate up all the soap. The next thing I knew, he had bubbles in his throat. Words beginning with. So you can ask a child, if I say the word banana, what is the first sound that you can hear? It's for phonemes. Fish. We probably did a few fish rhymes. I have some fish here. And things like, there are so many fishes in the deep blue sea. How many fishes can you see? 1, 2, 3. Or going fishing in the sea, catching fishes for my tea. How many fishes can you see? 1, 2, 3. Etc. What else did we have? The green grass grew all around. I'll show you that one in a minute. Can you stand as tall as a house, as small as a mouse, as wide as a gate, and as thin as a pin? Sailor went to sea to see what he could see. Remember we did the clapping rhymes? Syllable cards, little cards that I showed you with pictures on, and the children had to match them. There was an octopus, a lion, and an alligator. So we had 2, 3 and 4 syllables and the children had to match the pictures. The Elkonin boxes, if you remember, were these. So we had little counters, apple. What else did we do? And then a goodbye song. So what you can choose different activities obviously here. It's just somewhere, a way to record children's early literacy skills. So, songs, rhymes and stories. Does reading stories to children teach them to read? No. Does reciting rhymes teach children to read? No. Does singing songs teach children to read? No. So remember we talked about the science of reading, and there's a body of people who say this is not teaching children to read. However, does reading stories to children promote skills which are required for reading? Yes. Does reciting rhymes promote skills which are required for reading? Yes. Does singing songs promote skills which are required for reading? Yes. So you can see where we're going. Many skills must be brought together for children to be successful at literacy. And we've talked about all these skills now. Cognitive skills, language skills, speaking and listening, fine motor skills, being able to hold a pencil and write. I haven't put gross motor skills. Instead, I've written here timing, because timing, remember, you could do marching, Grand Old Duke of York, for example. Timing skills are important to literacy. PA, which I hope you know now, is phonological awareness, syllables, rhymes and phonemes, and visual discrimination. So children need all these skills to bring to literacy if they're going to be good at literacy, because these all offer a foundation for phonics. So people talk about phonics being what is the most important, of course, because children have to be able to match sounds to the symbols to be able to decode and encode text. However, if they don't have this awareness of sound, how can they match the sounds to the symbols? And of course, if they don't have visual discrimination and can tell the difference between a p and a b. So all these foundation skills that we've been discussing here for the last 9 weeks are so vitally important. Yes, of course, you have to learn to decode the letters and the words. But if you don't have these skills first, then it becomes much more difficult. So what can you do? Offer activities to promote the skills demonstrated by those good at literacy. Ensure that children begin phonics, not really saying when they're ready, but when they are well prepared. They've got all the skills to bring, and they are sort of ready. But when we talk about reading readiness, it's like the child has to be ready. What about the teacher? Is the teacher ready to accommodate the different needs of different children? Because all the children who arrive in a class have got different experiences, different skills, different things that they know about. And somehow the teacher has to be able to pull them all together. So, you know, what can you do? Look at the children that are in front of you and go, what can I do for each child to move child? If you like, I don't like to say ready. It's like there's a deficit in a child, they're not ready. But they have to be at the right stage so that they will be successful at phonics. So they need all these things: bibliographic knowledge, good language skills, phonological awareness, and motor skills. So what can you do? You can assess informally, you can watch them. So especially while you're doing songs and rhymes in a circle, you can see which children can clap syllables or can clap along, can keep time, can join in, learn some of the songs. You can see which of the children are actually really good at these skills and which ones might need a little bit more help. And formally do a sheet like I've just shown you, a little tick box, and monitor children's progress over the weeks. Provide intervention where necessary. So notice if a child is struggling, see what you can do about it. Find more activities to help them in that area. Elicit parental support. Ask the parents to help. Say, maybe they need help in this area. Please, can you support this? Send home some songs and rhymes to do. Can you sing along with your child and learn these songs, please? And also, this continues throughout school. So, you know, if you're an early years practitioner now, but you end up doing later grades 2, 3, 4, this doesn't stop. We continue throughout life doing songs, rhymes and stories. We do poetry. You know, we might not do nursery rhymes, but we do poetry in English as we go along. And morphology, where do these bits of words come from? Remember, we talked about the different languages that contribute to the English language. And just parts of words and ending. If you have "un" at something, it means not. If you have an ed on the end of something, it means it's in the past tense. Children need to know this and learn about the words. And sometimes the ed just has a t sound at the end. How strange. Obviously, it's due to the history of our language and people's pronunciation of words. And of course, we need to build a sight vocabulary, and eventually most of our words will become sight vocabulary. So I have to tell you a little bit, hopefully in 5 minutes, so I don't keep you too long, about my sounds and symbols literacy pack. It all fits in this box. I went to too many places where they said, "Oh, please, we want some of your resources," and I would end up with a giant box that wouldn't go in the post. So I thought this is a reasonable size. So I've actually got everything to fit in this box. The whole of this pack is £495, which might sound like quite a large number, but actually it's not when you consider what's in it and how long it can last. And just if you just have 50 children in your nursery, that's £10 per child over 10 years. Oh, sorry, 10 years, over 3 years. So if a child's in KG1, KG2, KG3, 3 years, £10 per child over 3 years, just over £3 per child. I'll tell you what's in it. Which of these activities did I tell you that I was going to show you? So obviously there's the fish. There's lots of resources in here. There's the resource cards here, another one. Oh, this one maybe I think I was going to share with you. This is for older children. I don't know if you know this. The green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. So you sing a line and the children repeat it back. So there was a tree. There was a tree stood in a wood, the prettiest tree that you ever did see, Together. And the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around, and on that tree, there was a branch, and you put the pieces on one at a time. So again, it's about sequencing. You have to keep going. Your mind has to think actually quite quickly to keep up. And then the final verse goes, and the wing on the bird, and the bird in the egg, and the egg in the nest, and the nest on the branch, and the branch on the tree, and the tree in the wood, and the green grass grew all around, and the green grass grew all around. So I think I used to do that at school, actually. It's an excellent song. Older children, and you've got sequencing, you've got the vocabulary, you've got the fluency, you have to be able to keep going. Excellent activity. So there's lots and lots of activities in this box. There are also 10 books, so there are training manuals. The first one is, okay, if you just want to go, okay, read what's in it, go, take it along, do a session. So it goes along with CD1. These are all the backing tracks. So there's not the words, you don't have to sing with the words here. This is a backing track to the music, which is much better. So these two go together. You can literally just go, play the music, open the book, sing along, the words are all there. The second training manual, sorry, you open straight away. This is all information about what you're doing and why you are doing it. This one is just go, here's the stuff, go, do a session, keep repeating it. You could do it maybe 6 weeks, the same thing, until everyone gets used to it. And the third one is 60 to 70 activities, so you can then start to tailor it to your own children. You could do it with a mums and toddlers group, you could do it with KG1, KG2, KG3, it goes all the way through different age groups. There are different, there's a section at the back that tells you about the different themes. So if you're doing a theme on transport, there's all transport songs. So there's all songs and rhymes and what to do, how to do it, and why you're doing it, and how this contributes to literacy. It's all in these training manuals. So these are the training. There's also a book here on why music is important in the early years, how it links to literacy. As a result of a dyslexia conference I went to, I looked specifically at how you can use these activities to help children who are dyslexic, and what different activities you can do. There's activities in here and why you would do them, and what you would do, and what skills that you can help to promote. This book here is my favourite one. It's all the theory and the research about how musical activities and songs and rhymes can help literacy. There's, I think there's 3 pages of references at the back, so you can see it's all research based, but the book itself is very, very easy to read. It's a very, very easy to read book. There's just information per page, there's a topic per page, like this. It's very easy to understand. A little bit about music training and phonemic awareness, music and syllables, music and rhymes, how to integrate music into your curricula, music, movement and gesture, and of course it's all referenced. Okay. There's lots of books in here. There's a Sounds and Symbols resource book, which is also an alphabet book the other way around. So there's songs and resources here that you sing along to. So these are all little pictures. Oops. Again, there's information in here. There's something to go along with the vowel song. Oops, on vowel things. A farm song. Lots of activities in there. What else can I show you? There's an owl here. There's a story written on the back, so you can read the story from the back, and children have instruments, and the little owl is going to sleep. There we go, he's gone to sleep here. And then along comes, so for example, a woodpecker, and the children make the noise of a woodpecker and it wakes him up. So you as the teacher read the story, do the owl going to sleep, and then the children play various instruments depending on what's coming along and wake up the owl. So there's lots and lots of activities in here. There's obviously Humpty won't fit into the box. So if you know anybody who can sew, there's a pattern for him. You can even make Humpty. There is also a copy of Sound Before Symbol in the box. You can buy that on Amazon anyway, separately. And the alphabet book, which you can purchase from me, should you want one. So there's lots and lots of things here. There's a clock for Hickory Dickory Dock and learning about numbers and time. So a huge amount of things in this kit that'll last for years and years and years and years. So let's have a look at what we've done today. Hopefully now you can identify 7 areas of child development. If you Google areas of child development, sometimes there's 5, sometimes there are more. It's not definitive, but the early years foundation stage in England identifies 7. So think about that when you're doing activities with your children and how they can contribute to literacy. I'm sure by now you can explain the process of how children become literate, how songs, rhymes and stories can help to promote skills required for literacy, but don't in themselves teach children to read and write. Explain what you will do in the light of all this knowledge, information and activities that you now know. What can you now do to support literacy? And activities, of course, yourself to promote literacy learning. I've had Teddy here for 3 weeks now and I still forgot to mention teddy bear, turn around, teddy bear, touch the ground. Do you know that one? I'm sure I brought some other things. Oh, each peach, pear, plums. Apples, no, apples, peaches, pear, plums, apples, peaches, pears, plums. Tell me when your birthday comes. You remember when we did the skipping rhymes? Skipping rhymes, clapping rhymes. Remember about drawing letters in the air with ribbons. So many different activities, and of course a lot more activities are in the pack. So congratulations, you have now completed 10 webinars on Literacy Unlocked. If you sent me your full name, then you will get that honour certificate this afternoon, hopefully. If not, I'll do the best I can with your name and hope we get it right. So that'll be in your email. They're very nice certificates. Thank you for joining us. There is, as well as doing literacy, and music and literacy, which obviously I enjoy immensely, you can tell. I am a schools advisor, and I also offer training on teaching. So lesson preparation, how to plan, how to set learning outcomes, how to deal with behaviour management, all sorts of things related to teaching. If you've got anything at all that you'd like me to offer for your schools, for your setting, please just email me here at webinar@Meltis. Also, please check out Sounds and Symbols and Bryant and Kay Publishing. They both have Facebook pages and they both have websites. So there's lots more information and activity ideas on those as well. And I know you've been to the YouTube videos. Obviously there's lots more activities there as well. So there's a whole range of things that you can access. And of course, if you would like the literacy pack, please just email me. So thank you so much. I know I've got some questions here. Okay, so one of the questions is, good morning, where can I get these large pictures? Oh, the large pictures for storytelling, these ones to go with the Gruffalo. You can, if you just Google the Gruffalo resources on the internet, and you'll find them. Okay. Can you share copies of these songs? Do you mean okay, sorry. Do you mean the music? The music, copies of the songs, music or lyrics? Sorry, I'm trying to type you an answer as well. And the large pictures, I'll type you the answer there. Google resources. Okay. Lyrics. Oh, okay, no problem. If you send me an email and say ask me for the lyrics to whichever song, I'll send you them. Yes, no problem at all. Okay, I'll look back through, see which ones we've done that you would like the lyrics to. No problem at all. I'll type in here as well. Oops. Please email. Now. Okay. Okay. Any more questions? I hope that's answered your questions. I've actually lost. I've lost that video, so I can't actually. Oh, here we go. I couldn't see if you were seeing me on video or not. Hey, well, thank you very, very much for joining these sessions. If you know anybody else who would be interested, obviously, please pass on the details. These will be, as they are now, will be available for a limited time, and then they will be repackaged and will be more expensive. So if you know anyone who wants them as they are now, the time will be limited for that. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope it's been useful. Thank you as well for your wonderful feedback that I've got. That's so kind. And thank you again. And I wish you all success with your children and your teaching in the future. Thank you very much, and goodbye for today.